Hi all, Gene Dexter, founder of the Dexter Experience. Been a while since I've done a video, so I thought I'd go ahead and upload one for today while I'm waiting for laundry. Um, Heading to two other markets starting about, next week. And we'll see how the winter thing plays out. Today I wanted to talk about some of the stuff I'm seeing with a couple of these Airbnb University type channels. And I think there's one called Airbnb University. That's not really the one I wanted to address now. And the other one, there's another big one with a gentleman who's got like 50 plus properties that he's got under short-term rental management, and now he's starting a tutorial thing on his own, and I'm sure he's selling a program. But here's the thing: I saw a recent one he did pertaining to guest counts, and I completely disagree. Now, my business is not that far off from his, although his numbers, he says he's doing about 4 million, which is, annually, which is, huge. I don't know what markets he's in, but those are big numbers. Averaging about maybe 5,700 a month per unit, which is incredible. So kudos to him for that. But the freebie stuff that he's putting on YouTube, I completely disagree with some of it. Now, guest counts. He's saying, throw a rate on it, and then use the module for additional guest fees. And then when 30 people show up and the cameras pick it up, just take snapshots of it and then send it in and get paid for each additional person that was there. Well, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. The guest count arrangement is the guest count arrangement, and that needs to be contractual in nature in advance. Instead, I'm not playing, at all with it. If someone's contracted for 4 and 6 or 7 show up, yeah, I'll put it into resolution. Yeah, I'll charge more. But I'm also going to be putting a big stop to it until that contract is updated. And that could mean even evicting them, because there's no reasonable way that the parties didn't know that they were had more people, and they have an obligation to tell the host that. So this whole thing about add a per person charge, advertise that, and then when 30 people show up, are you out of your mind? I mean, this is why there's this need, or municipalities and markets feel that there's this need to regulate, because there's just a lot of greed out there, and it's unbelievable. Did you hear recently about this thing in New York where they busted a building and owners were partitioning out the square footage? So, whereas a condo would normally, comfortably, sleep with a family of 4, let's say, in the city there, they had it set up for where they, had 22 people sleeping in the thing because demand is so big in New York. And they were doing bunk beds and partitioning the, bedrooms, living room, and all that. It's just ridiculous. And this is like the new slumlord. So I'm not really feeling that at all. I'm seeing it happen also to a certain extent in other places where you think that maybe they don't have that kind of demand, but they do. I saw one in I'm not gonna say what market it is because I'm in that market too, but there's a guy with a 1-bedroom advertising sleeping up to 16 people. Now, granted, it's its own floor in a 3-story building, and it's 1 unit per floor, which is great. But that's still not that large for 16 people, which is what he's advertising. And this is where communities are up in arms, about it. I mean, how do you figure that you can come into a neighborhood and do this to the people around you, when all you're thinking about is the money and not the surroundings. Another example I see is like, some of, the higher end places, especially in Miami. Can you imagine if, you're a doctor, worked all your career in developing your practice, and now, you pick up, let's say, a $4 million home, and across the street, foreign investors, come in and pay cash and turn it into a party house for, everything from rap videos that they advertise that you can do, to bachelorette parties, to this and that. Can you imagine if you're the doctor across the street having to deal with this every, Friday to Sunday? And of course, the checkouts are going to be late because they're all sleeping in on the lawn or whatever, and, by the pool. And then, of course, the half day of cleanup. So, there's all that noise, and then trash pickup, which is on whatever day, with 30 bags of trash out in front. And here you are, the doctor across the street, seeing all this, going, what the F? I mean, so it's a problem, and it's just human nature. It's complete greed, and it really affects people like myself, where I'm trying to run a very, very very tight ship with clear guest count guidelines, with a presentation, a value, and with respect for everyone around it, neighbors, community, the websites that I work with, my team, my cleaners. It needs to be a top-down culture. But just because you have money and you're going out there and you're flying off the the deep end, thinking, oh well, gosh, I can make 6 times more money on the short-term rental market. I'll just buy this ridiculously expensive home and put it out there. Well, that's where the problems begin, because you're not controlling your presentation or what goes on in the homes. So anyway, that's basically my rant for today. And it's great that people are selling programs, and it's great that there are successful hosts that are sharing what they're doing and selling the game, and that's perfectly all right. If I had time and energy for it, I guess I could do the same thing, because I too, between the ones that have come and gone and the ones I've got now, it's about 70 homes in three countries so far. So I guess I should be also developing those programs, and you guys can pay me $99 for the Dexter Experience College or whatever, Dexter University. We'll see if we get to that ever one day. But in the meantime, this kind of stuff that I'm seeing, information that I'm seeing online, and some of it I'm just really disagreeing with, as far as the knowledge. If for some of you newbies following that stuff to the letter, you're going to start hitting some roadblocks real quick. So, be careful and get all kinds of perspectives. And maybe, you found my little, 2-bit channel, and I'm certainly not going to get, kind of views that these guys, get in the space. Plus they're advertising. They're doing a lot of big, YouTube advertising. So people are finding them that way. But, I'm just one guy, and, sitting here saying, hey, there's 2, 3, 4 sides of this. So be careful. Okay, well, listen, have a great week, and I'll, get to back to this, maybe from Southern California or Detroit, depending on the how things flow. But in the meantime, shout out from Seattle, and I'll talk to you all later. Okay, bye now.